Hey everybody, welcome to It's Just Bodybuilding Episode 8 with your hosts Ron Partlow and Dusty Hanshaw. And today we're doing Coach's Corner and listener questions on It's Just Bodybuilding. So Dusty, here we are. We finally got the place to ourselves.
Fucking Lone Rangers.
We had 2 guests in a row. I don't know if we know how to behave now without someone chaperoning us.
Oh, that's like you said, now we got no one to blame if it doesn't roll. Well, I'm going to blame, I figure I'll look at the questions. If there's any weak ones, I'll toss those in and I'll be like, I'm blaming John 626 for the weak episode.
Right, exactly. We need someone else. Luke was good. Got a really good response from that episode. He was funny and had a lot of good stories.
Oh yeah, no, I think that's the thing is people are really enjoying starting to actually meet the athletes, so to speak. And I think a lot of that already. I mean, between social media and everything else, but to actually hear, I think these guys are starting to realize that as cool as it would be to train with Luke, it would probably be more fun to be drunk in a bar with him. Probably.
It comes down to the. I've kind of been reading a little bit on this, the phenomenon of the long form conversation and how it's changing media. And the article was mainly about Joe Rogan and how, if a guest goes on CNN, they get 2 minutes, they'll probably get interrupted. They won't get to correct themselves. Mm-hmm. And they might say something that they want to elaborate on, but they won't get a chance. Whereas if they go on Rogan, they get like 2 to 3 hours to explain themselves thoroughly.
Yeah.
To debunk every misconception about them. and
or solidify.
Yeah, and then show their human side and talk about other things that they're not tired of talking about. And so of course, people are that's why they're lining up to go on. That's why Rogan's getting these guests, is because people are seeing the amazing benefit of doing the long form conversation. And I know we get access to these guys on Instagram and people see into our lives and stuff, but there's nothing like an hour long or 2 hour long conversation to really see what someone's like. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. It's hey, it's a first date. Only 10,000 people are watching.
No pressure.
I think I could try that one
day. Maybe that's where the magic is on the first date. I have 10,000 people watching.
What's funny about it, though, is we joke about that. My video guy, Todd, who when he comes into town, obviously we get good content and a lot of people enjoy it. But he keeps saying, man, if I could do anything, I would hang GoPros in your life, because the normal conversations that go on in my house are a little bit absurd compared to most. So
yeah.
I think that he's like, man, the shit that is said here, because every time I turn around, I say, fuck, I wish I had the camera going for that.
Right.
And because a guy like Luke or people like us, I don't really care. This is it. I don't need you to filter me up or anything. And I surely don't need you to hand me a script, which happened once recently, but we won't talk about that.
And exactly. It's fun to just come on and let loose. And I understand why people have a hard time with it at first. People that aren't used to it. But once you start getting feedback from people about just being honest, right, you realize the benefit of it, And it also makes you laugh about how many decades media didn't know that. Everything was the whole fake production of your fake selves for the media that everyone did for decades. Everyone famous always had the fake, thing. And now with social media and podcasts, we're seeing oh wow, that actually wasn't the best system. People actually like you more when you're just fucking normal.
Well, they know who you are or who you're not. I mean, I know you get this because I've heard it, but so have I. I've met people at booths and trade shows and things, and they're like, man, you're just like the video, or you're just like online. I'm like, that's me.
Right.
Yeah, for better or for worse, my sponsors are like, oh shit, he just said that. Okay.
Yeah. I've never had anybody tell me not to say something, but I've had people say, you know what I mean?
I haven't either, but I do know that some of the Dining with Dusty's, the greatest points, didn't always make the.
Yeah, there was a couple there, especially the Nicole Aniston episode. I mean, she was funny to have on because I was able to get her to do the show, But then at the same time, we're like, well, she's kind of a huge porn star. Like, do we put that in the title, or do we just let people sort of figure it out? Or
Dusty Hanshaw sits down with porn star.
Yeah, and I understood Mutan's point at the time. Mutant was like, oh, what do we do with this interview where Dusty's interviewing this A-list porn star? It's kind of a weird flavor. Like, what is that? Like, where do you know, it was a funny episode, man. She was a real sport. I know there's probably people listening who are probably like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Go to Mutant TV, look up Dining with Dusty, and there's a great episode that Ron set up with me with Nicole Aniston, and she is slightly more famous than me. Her body is known more than mine, and more detail, and
more famous. She's more famous for her glutes than you are,
which is shocking. I mean, come on, working on these things for decades. Damn it!
But now, what was she actually like in person?
Oh, so she was awesome. I mean, that was the thing is. What made it actually interesting was I remember you text me, you're like, we got Nicole Aniston. And I go, oh, cool. Who's that? Because I don't follow. I like to make home porn. I'm not really into watching porn. So I was like, oh, okay. And I remember it was funny because you were obviously a huge fan. So you texted me in the morning. You're like, if you need anything to keep it rolling. And I'm like, yeah, I'm just going to eat lunch and see how this rolls.
She's cool, yeah. She's like one of the fitness girls of porn. That's kind of like the crossover, and she trains at that Metroflex. That's how we got her. So it was just a funny hookup. But yeah, we know some crazy people, Dusty.
We'll get her on this show eventually. It'll be good.
We'll start branching out where it's just bodybuilding and randomly interviewing the odd porn star here and there.
Hey, they work out. It's all good.
Yeah, they do. They got to work out now. You know, I've talked to a few. I talked to a few of the guys about, I was like, you know, you guys got to be in great shape now. They're like sexual athletes. Right. Like, you know, that weird fucking positions. They got to stand in with one leg up on the thing and they got to do 10 minutes of this. And like it's you know what I mean? It's fucking absurd, right?
It's gazelles.
Yeah. And I talked to one of them and he was like, oh yeah, man, I do 45 minutes on the elliptical every day interval. Like I got to be in shape.
Well, interval makes sense.
Yeah, interval, exactly.
You gotta speed up, slow down. It's crazy.
Yeah, and then he literally said, he's like, your cardio is the number one, because he's like, as soon as you get tired, that's when you lose your wood. And he's like,
that happening.
No, and the whole everything's operating on you, man. They're all, you know, they don't break for lunch till you get your fucking stuff done, you know. So he said, you know, 45 minutes a day of hard intervals on the elliptical. Yeah, it was just funny. Pushing that cardio.
Imagine getting in there and killing it. What are you training for? Well, I've got a 1-on-3 coming up. And
Yeah. I'm training for the Olympics, buddy. That's what I'm training for. Okay, so we got a bunch of listener questions. That was basically there's probably 20 listeners that wanted to ask a porn question anyways, because we get them. So we're going to do listener questions and Coach's Corner stuff today, just because, you know, we don't have a guest and we're kind of backed up on a lot of great questions you guys have been sending us, because, you know, last week with Luke, we didn't even do questions. We just like ran for like an hour and a half with Luke, you know? Yep. So you want me to start with a few?
Absolutely.
Okay, so we're not going to group these or anything like that. We're not going to do like training questions for 20 minutes or anything. We're just going to fire through the ones we got. So I had an Instagram up for 1 hour, and so we'll start with this one. What's your best advice? It's a training recovery question. To get the maximum amount of muscle recovery immediately post-workout. What do you think matters post-workout? Is it the meal? Is it like some guys, you know, UFC guys doing ice baths? Like, what would you do to maximize recovery?
I mean, loaded question, because I think most of recovery happens before the workout is over. It's the food. It's all the things you've done before. But assuming you're hydrated, you're fed, all that stuff, what I do look at, A, is food. Now, I'm not some psychopath with the whole anabolic window. I drive home and get a shake in when I get it in, or a meal, whatever. But I am a huge proponent of both ice baths, and I'm actually still an old school Epsom salt bath guy.
Oh, okay.
You know, so something that most of the viewers probably have never even tried because they're too young to even heard of it. But those two things I rotate. When I'm deep in prep and the body's broken down and the food's not there, those two things come into play a ton. And then a little fun fact for any of you guys that are going to do a ice bath, if you want to make sure that you're a little safer and a little less fear, believe it or not, wearing socks into your ice bath is a game changer, which sounds ridiculous because they get wet. But for some reason, that actually will help in how long you can hang out in there without hitting some hypothermia situations.
Interesting tip. I wonder if it kind of keeps like maybe the water around the toes stays warmer or something like that.
I don't know. I read about it one time, and so I was like, all right, well, I mean, I'll try anything. I mean, you know, in the bathtub, it's all good. And I actually literally did find, I mean, don't get me wrong, you always get in, and if you've done ice baths, like when I played hockey, it was so much cooler because we had the big ice baths.
You just dropped in.
You sat in a giant hot tub of ice. Now I'm using a freaking tub in a condo. But when you get in, once you break that 3 minutes and your body essentially goes numb, I was able to hang out quite a bit longer with no like worries of, okay, I need to get the hell out of here.
Now, aren't you? No, there's supposed to be a few hours between the workout and the ice bath, right? Because you want that good inflammatory response before you totally shut down.
Oh, that's more like, I mean, what I do is I train 11 in the morning. I'm done around 1 o'clock, and I wouldn't be hitting that ice bath till 5, 6 p.m.
Oh, okay. How long would you stay in?
I do 10 minutes. That's it.
Oh, okay. There you go. Well, yeah, I mean, you'll die if you do long enough.
Yeah, that's one time. And if you haven't done them, you're probably going to do 3 or 4 attempts where you get in and get out.
Well, I don't do ice baths, but I have done cold showers.
Okay.
And they have an effect as well. They say that either will work. The bath is probably more effective. It's just, so total. Whereas the showers, the shower is still an experience. So let me tell you. But I'm actually, if I could do it all again, and structure everything perfectly where you didn't have to work and all that stuff, I think a post-workout nap is like an awesome thing. You know what I mean? Train, eat your meal, crash for 30 minutes. Like that for me, I think that's a huge benefit for post-workout recovery. Okay. So he said he'd love to hear our actual off-season diets when we were at our very heaviest. And he knows I was 330 at one point here. I don't have the diet in front of me, but I know I was working with Chad Nichols the year I hit 330. And I know my breakfast was 10 ounces of steak with 5 whole eggs and 2 cups of oatmeal with berries. So it was a huge breakfast, And then the meals were 2 cups of rice with 10 ounces of steak and, shakes with 200 grams of carbs in them, that sort of stuff. But, it was upwards of, 6,000-7,000 calories. But I know a lot of people say they eat 6,000-7,000 calories. I know middleweights that eat that. But for me, that was a ridiculous amount of food. It was absolutely, I couldn't have eaten anymore. What's that?
Holding your diet.
Oh yeah! Oh, you got the one I sent you. Yeah. I sent it to Dusty. He's got it. Okay.
I actually have this.
Okay. Yeah. Let's hear it. Let's see if I remember it.
This is the off-season base diet you have.
Okay.
10 ounces of lean steak, 3 pancakes with syrup. Meal 2 is a protein shake, about 80 grams of isolate, 1 cup of oats, 2 tablespoons of peanut butter. You did 12 ounces of lean steak, a cup of cooked rice, and then he said mix whatever you want in the rice. Then you had 12 ounces of turkey breast, 12 ounces of mashed potatoes. Then this is my favorite because I actually did this diet for a couple of days. It was fun. Large bowl of spaghetti and meatballs, large dinner salad, any kind of dressing you wanted, and 2 pieces of bread. Then you had a protein shake with 80 grams of pure isolate. Add fruit or peanut butter, no measured amounts. And then you had a snack if needed, which was a medium bowl of cereal or 2 peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And then the big one that I loved about this was he actually wrote in there, which I'm trying to see if I can find the words of it here. But it was something like, I would like it to be 80% clean, which meant if you chose to go eat cheeseburgers instead, that would be fine.
Yeah. I know the diet did increase at some point because my weight stopped moving.
Base, so
yeah, that's the base diet. So the rice went up and then there was at one point I had a cheeseburger and a large piece of chocolate cake every day.
Ooh.
Yeah, that was in there.
Never mind. Sorry, I'm off track.
You're dreaming. So yeah. And you know what? I realize now the reason that I didn't look like Ronnie Coleman is because I never had that dinner salad once. Because I'm not a salad guy.
Live and learn. See, I would have, because I like ranch or Caesar.
Yeah.
I like that deal. I have clients that are not. Remember, I train a lot of general population people too. And I always laugh because if they mess up earlier in their diet, they're like, it's okay, though, because I had a salad. I had a Caesar salad chicken. I'm like, oh, shit.
It's okay, though, because I had a salad.
A slice of carrot cake. Like, damn it.
Oh, man. So here's another one here. What's your favorite show you're currently watching?
Ooh. All right, well.
Let's get to know Dusty a little bit. What are you watching?
So I don't have the patience to wait for shows when there's an episode coming. I hate that. At the end of a show, they hook you. And now you got to wait till next week. I don't do that. I wait till series end and then I start them. So I started watching season 8 of Suits last week.
Okay.
I started season 9 last night, and I'll be done by Tuesday.
Right. Okay.
I just sit down, and you already know I don't sleep. So I got home from the gym last night at about 1 a.m, and I watched 2.5 episodes until I was finally able to sleep last night. But yeah, I'm an addict to Suits, and it just ended like a week or so ago. So I'm gonna start watching again.
Okay. Yeah, we're in the last season. We're about halfway through the last season.
I'll catch and pass you.
Yeah. No. Emily and I sort of do the same thing because we don't have time to wait for shit. We usually pick a show and just destroy it. Right. You know what I mean? Like we did that with Dexter. Like Dexter'd been done for 2 years, and we're like, okay, let's watch Dexter, and just smashed it in the first 3 months. That we started that. So
I did that with Sons of Anarchy. So I started watching Sons of Anarchy at the start of the last season.
Right. 6
seasons, and I watched the last episode live.
Right. I know exactly what I've done. Yeah. I can catch you. Yeah.
So those shows were awesome, but I would say right now that's the one, and then here. The Last Kingdom caught me last year. I don't know if you ever watched.
Okay, no, but I've seen the thumbnail and thought, I've heard that's good.
Jump in on that when you're done with Suits.
So we were kind of watching. We started watching Billions.
Oh, great!
And we got into season 2, and then the last season of Suits came out, so we had to flip back to that to polish that off. So we're kind of, I guess we're watching the financial law shit. I don't know why we're watching both those. Both of them are too similar. It's pretty funny. Yeah, but that's what we're watching. What I'd say the show that I binged the fastest was I'm a huge fan of that Battlestar Galactica series that they redid back around 2005. Right. And they pounded out 5 seasons of it. I binged that show. I probably watched 5 seasons in about a month.
Right.
Which is just absurd. I was a lazy, fucking unproductive fuck. I was just
nothing with my life.
No, man. I was watching I watched 10 episodes in one day. Just crazy shit like that. Where you look back and you're like, that's an embarrassing amount of TV to watch in one day.
Don't tell people.
Yeah, don't tell people. But yeah, I smashed that series. You got one?
Yeah, I'm looking. Okay. All right. Here's one I'll throw at you first. What are the biggest mistakes you see young bodybuilders making?
Not nailing the basics. I see young bodybuilders eating measured tuna and rice meals where they've weighed out the tuna, and I'm like, dude, you're fucking 18.
Eat.
Just eat. How hungry? Eat more. Just eat more. They're following almost contest diets, trying to do lean gainers and stuff like that. And these are kids that have good metabolisms. They're not fat kids. I see there be the odd person where you'd put them on a lean gainer diet at a young age and try to correct the damage that may have been done by, junk food or whatever kind of metabolism you're dealing with. But if you got a healthy kid who plays sports and stuff, he shouldn't be weighing his tuna and rice out. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I'd say that sort of thing. Just not nailing the basics. Like you got to eat more, train heavier, train harder. Yeah, that's it. The big ones, the big things that really matter: food, intensity in the gym, lifting heavy and hard.
Yep. No, I agree. And I think that the other thing that I toss in is, and this is a Dorian, so you'll know the quote, but if you can't see measurable gains in a month, you're doing something wrong.
Yeah, when you're, yeah.
No. So
Yeah.
I've even run into that. I mean, I don't know what's happened as I got older, but I've gotten to the point where getting heavy is harder.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
My diet when I started trying to gain was chicken, rice, this, that. Now, like when people ask, oh, how many cheat meals do you have a week? I'm almost afraid to tell them because my clients don't have the same luxury, because I'm like, 2 a day.
Yeah.
It's the only way, because, I mean, literally we were getting to the point where I would step on the scale and I would look in the mirror and I got veins coming up my abs and I'm like, this is me trying to get heavy.
Yeah, I know what you mean. The body, you got so much muscle on you, Dusty, at this point. I mean.
Yeah, it's a different ballgame. Whereas when I was younger, I was the opposite of what you're talking about. I was the simplistic guy. Like, I need calories.
Yeah.
Arnold's has calories. I will eat times a day.
Yeah. And I'd say another thing is when you see, I guess, the question's referring to young bodybuilders, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so, like if you're 18 and you're spending, and like, don't get me wrong, I mean, they're great additions, but if you're spending more on supplements than you are on food, there's a huge problem.
For sure.
I mean, it like food is what matters. Like I honestly use nothing but protein powder for like the first 10 years I trained. Mm-hmm. Like the only supplement I used was protein powder. I didn't try anything else. And then creatine, of course, was like huge. So creatine and protein powder is pretty much what I used almost the entire time I competed. That was pretty much it.
That's what? They're the things you still use now that you're retired.
Yeah, things I still use every day. Like they haven't changed, Yep. So yeah, there's a lot of things, but just kind of getting away from the basics. And like we talked about we talked about these, Dusty, the other day, like just do some dumbbell presses, man. You load your pecs through a longer range of motion with more weight, and it's more effective exercise. Like, it's just kind of wasting time with fancy stuff. Like an 18-year-old kid should be squatting, hack squatting, leg pressing, training hard. He doesn't need to do, banded, glute activated, single leg, reverse lunges.
Right. 100%.
That's a bodybuilder, obviously. You got another one?
Yes, I do. Actually, in this one, I thought was a perfect example because so Gina Davis, our good friend now, actually tossed in a great question I'd like you to jump on. What's one factor you can blame for today's lack of work ethic in the gym?
Well, I don't think it's a lack of. Well, I mean, that's how it presents itself, as a lack of work ethic in the gym. I think it's just sort of a societal thing where we just want stuff quick and easy. Mm-hmm. And I think that's just sort of a general theme with everything. And I don't think it's just in the gym. Everything is presented as just so doable and achievable. And it's, I guess that was one thing. Like I remember, I don't like having these sort of back in my day conversations all the time. Right. But I think it's just a societal thing, people just want stuff super quick and easy. People are so distracted. People do have a lot more attention issues now. People can't focus now. I mean, these are all things that we're talking about, like on a societal level. There's evidence to back all this stuff up now. Like they're saying, attention spans are shrinking, like, everything's changing. Right. And so stuff that takes a really, really long time is getting less popular, like, I don't know how it actually wound up, but like, didn't Gibson guitars almost go bankrupt?
Right.
It's because like, what do kids want to learn? They just want to push buttons. Yeah. Like, I'm a DJ. I'm a fucking DJ. I push buttons for 3 months. I got a gig.
Right. Exactly.
It's like, whereas the other kid's sitting in his garage for like 6 years learning riffs.
Right.
And then he might get to play with someone for $20 at a birthday.
Right.
Right. And that's his first gig. Right. So it's just, it's different. Like people want to do stuff that's awesome and doesn't take long.
Right. I get that. I think that also, in that same mindset. It's funny because I don't train people anymore, but I do train one NFL guy every day. And
Okay.
We were just discussing today how people don't understand the odds anymore. Like you just said, everything seems so achievable. So like, how many clients reach out to you day one, never competed, and I one of the questions I have is, what are your long-term goals? I want to be a professional bodybuilder. And I'm like, and it's like, it's so, I can do it. It's no big deal.
Right.
I'm just going to be a pro real quick. And I just, or I'm going to make a living. I mean, even like like you and I do, the amount of people who want my job is ridiculous.
Right.
The amount of people who are trying to achieve that same thing is so high. So it's funny to me that everyone thinks that it'd be so easy to get and that they're going to get it on such little work. You know,
Right.
I mean, how many athletes in that same mindset either don't train that hard, don't train that consistency, don't eat that consistency, hell, don't even take their drugs that consistently, but then they want the big thing, or they get their foot in the door with the company and they lose their position because they don't want to work.
Yeah. It would take that old chart I've seen of both the number of players in high school football and
Right.
then the number of players in college football.
Right.
And then the number of players in the NFL. And it's like, holy shit. It's like, I don't know what the numbers were. It's like 1 out of every 200,000 kids gets to play one game of NFL or something like that. It's just crazy. So
yeah,
same in bodybuilding.
On the question, though, it's really just about consistency over time and the speed of wanting things. And I think the other thing is, I really blame, it's funny because I love social media. It puts us on the map, but I also blame it because everyone is so much more worried about telling people what they're doing than doing it. You
Right.
know, when I see people with struggling businesses making sure to put their post up of how they're marketing their unsuccessful marketing strategies, I'm like, just shut the fuck up and market.
Right.
Don't worry about telling people. Like, quietly go into the basement and work.
Right. Sometimes I know what you mean. Just, yeah.
It's that mentality of what you do in the dark is what shows up when the lights finally come on. You know what I mean? When no one's watching. So I think that's a big miss thing too, is for all the content you see out of someone like myself, it's 3% of what I do every day.
Yeah.
Bring this to life,
Yeah. Here, I got a good one for you. So I actually got 3 people who asked kind of the same question, but I'm going to give Dan Bassett credit for it because his was kind of worded the easiest. It says, post-show, to get the greatest progress in the post-show phase, what do you recommend the average person do with food, training, drugs, etc.?
Ooh, all right. So
what's sort of your base plan, assuming the show went well?
No, I get it. And I said who because there's so many different takes on this.
Yeah.
And I love it because I see high-level prep coaches that do it completely the opposite of me. I'm much more leaning towards Chad Nichols style than I am Andrew Vu. Andrew is a big proponent of like a very slow exit out of the prep and into his off season. For me, I'm thinking, okay, your show ends today. You're competing in 9 months. I can't waste 10 weeks getting you out of this prep. So for me, I'm like big jumps in calories immediately. If you're healthy right now, we go.
Right.
Like, I don't even slow down. Truthfully, if you're on a bunch of gear, I don't really need that as much now because you've got the food. I'm not saying I'm tossing it all, but you're not going to be taking a bunch of extra shit. You might be on some test, and we're going to eat and we're going to train until your body gives me some sign that it's time to step back a little bit and let it rest. So for me, a perfect world is you're done with the show and your body is as healthy as your mind is hungry, and we go to war. So you'll be eating, and I know you don't want to become a slob, but if you're shredded and you're 220 pounds, it does me no worries for you to be 240, 245 in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Good, we got to go. Because if you're 223 in 3 weeks, I'm like, okay, when is the show again? So now we have 8 months?
Right.
Are we going to grow? Because 3 or 4 months we got to diet. You know what I mean? So
Right.
I'm more a proponent, and I used to love, I would hear in the old days, now you used to watch the videos too, like Fuad, there's a video I very clearly remember in his first training video where he got his Olympia qualification and Chad was like, get your weight up now so that you can come up, get some changes, and come down for the Olympia. You know what I mean? He was like going through a drive-through or something. He's like, something crazy happened. I qualified for the Olympia. Coach told me to fucking eat.
Oh, right. Yeah, that sort of thing. I get it. Yeah. No, that's cool. It usually depends. I mean, like you said, there's a few different ways to do it. If I'm working with like a really new competitor and maybe they're just doing their first sort of serious thing, I would want them to probably go hard for about a month or 6 weeks post show, get their weight up, get their strength up, and then take a break and do that sort of thing. But I usually ask like a high level competitor. I'll usually say like, how motivated? Like, are you like if they're fucked, like they just did 20-week prep and they killed themselves and they're just fucked, then I'll have them take like a week off training. But if they wake up the day after the show and they're just like fucking go time and they're motivated, then you ride that hard. You get there, you feed them and get them big and all that sort of stuff. But if I said I had to give a generic thing, I would say stay on a little bit of test and just eat a lot of good food and throw some junk in to make yourself happy and just train hard and get strong again. Any strength you lost getting shredded, get that back immediately as fast as you can.
Yep, I agree.
I'll do another one here. I've heard you talk about this before, so this would be good for you, Dusty. When is it time to start prioritizing body parts as a competitor?
This one to me is simple. Probably when you're a pro. I mean, like, it sounds funny, but like so many guys, I'm talking ridiculously early on, are worried about their arms being too small or their legs being too big or whatever. And here's my answer that'll just summarize the whole thing. You're trying to be a professional, let's say. Okay, what part of you is ready to be a pro? Is ready to hang with the best pros on the planet? Most guys, the answer is none. Okay, good. Then let them all explode as quickly as they can. I used to argue that Branch Warren turned pro on legs. He had great structure and all those things, but if you really look at him, like when he turned pro, it was like, okay, now I got to bring that upper body up. But dude, he waltzed as a turning pro with a mediocre upper body and retarded legs. Yeah, his entire lower body, and I think that's a prime example. To me, prioritizing it is when so much is ready, and now it's like, okay, well, you have a glaring weakness now. Yeah,
it's funny. My one buddy used to say, you got 10 body parts. I don't know how he's counting. Chest, back, quads, hams, calves, like he's counting it. You got 10 body parts. The guy with the most body parts that looks like a pro will win. Which is like, so he can have 3 shitty body parts, but if the rest of his body is pro level, it's going to be hard to compete with that guy.
Yep.
He's got pro back, pro chest, pro arms, pro legs, but he got a shitty chest and, maybe really weak hamstrings. It's like, well, he's still going to beat you.
Yeah.
Right. So I know what you mean. And I hear guys who are maybe doing classic, and they're like, oh, well, my legs are too big for my arms. And I'm like, no, man, like nothing on you is too big at all. You need to get every single part of you has to get bigger.
Yep.
Nothing on you is good enough to be a pro or even win a show. Like, you got a great build, great shape, great structure, but maybe they're coming in at 180 and the cutoff for their class is 190.
Right.
I'm like, what are you talking about? Something's too big. You got 10 pounds to max this class out. Actually, you got 15 pounds because you could suck down for it. Right.
Yeah.
You can put on 15 pounds of muscle and still make this class. You just got to put that anywhere you can.
Yep. I agree.
Get as much of it on you. I don't care if it's on your fucking forearms and your calves. But you need 15 pounds of muscle, So I tell that to guys all the time. Agreed. You want to do another one?
Yeah. I got a few here. Okay. This is a good one, actually, and it's right up what I've done, but I want you to do it. I started bodybuilding late, 26. Potential I have more, but does starting late affect my overall results?
Well, I'd say that just depends on his talent. I mean, we've seen some guys start late and wind up being like amazing pros, right?
Yep.
I think that one of the things, like for me, I always used to say like that I thought I had pretty mediocre genetics for actually being a bodybuilder. But one of the reasons why I got so big so fast was I was training hard and heavy while I was growing. Right. So I caught almost my entire puberty, I was bodybuilding. So I had all that high quality growth hormone and test racing through my system while I was growing anyways. And that's one of the reasons why I was able to get really big at a young age. So had I started training at 22 or 23 when I was done growing, I mean, maybe I wouldn't have gotten nearly as big. You know what I mean? I don't know. I'm not sure what would have happened with me. But we've all seen guys who started late and they're just like, oh, like Luke started kind of late. Yep. You know? So I guess it just depends on your genetics and your talent. But I'd say if you're not gifted, if you're kind of average, then it is like a setback. I mean, if you're starting at 26, I mean, that's 10 years you could have been training.
Right.
You know? It's sort of a like bit of a hard question to answer, but I mean, it really comes down to how good are you?
I think that, you know, my answer to that is really simple. Fuck it, who cares?
Mm-hmm.
Because you'll never know, and you can't.
Right, yeah.
So here's how I look at it. What do you have now that makes this better? Well, at 26, I'm going to assume you're making some money. I'm going to assume you got your shit together. You're not with mom and dad. So wow, you can, you know, I mean.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it could be limiting. It could not be. I think you nailed something huge when you said it really depends on talent. You know, when I played hockey, kids started hockey at 3. You know what I mean? Like, you know, their skates look like they could be hanging from your rearview mirror. My very first time on ice, I was 12. You know, and you know that was like a talent situation because I did learn to play for one day. They put me on the B team for one weekend. Up to the highest team the following weekend. It was so it was very quick, and I was the best player on the highest team 2.5 weeks into playing. So it just depends on how, you know, who you are. But the biggest thing is I think way too many of us in all aspects of life start looking for reasons to fall short before we even start.
Right. I know what you mean. And there's a lot of guys that started young, but they wasted the first 5 years.
Yep.
Like they might have started 5 years before this guy, but they weren't eating at all and they made almost no gains. And so, you know, you're right. It does come down to what do you do now?
Yep.
You know, what are you going to do about it now? Because, I mean, if that guy comes on strong, he might be able to make up a lot of time. You want to do another one? I got a few.
Give me another one. I'm going to actually look. So I'm always picky. Sorry, people, but we got so many choices here. I want to get the good ones.
So here's one for both of us. It's biggest mistakes clients make with check-ins. This is we talk about this all the time. Sending shitty pictures. I mean, you have to look at your pictures and you have to honestly say, is Dusty gonna be able to tell how I look when they send that to you? And sometimes clients send me pictures and I'm like, hey man, like I can't see anything.
Right. You might as well sit in the dark.
Like you just took random photos it just looks like you stopped randomly in the hallway and took photos. Like there's no thought to the light hitting your front of your body. Like you have to think, like, look at the photo. Is that an accurate representation? Can I see cuts? Can I see, like, you know what I mean?
Yep.
So sending bad pictures is probably the biggest thing. And there's a lot of people that struggle with that. Oh. Like I'd say the number one thing that I have to sort of make sure clients work on is sending better photos. There's a lot of people that just don't realize that they're sending photos that I can't do anything with. And then also sometimes, I'm sure we've had it, where we have that one client where we're prepping them. We're like, man, this person's looking fucking great. And then, you know, maybe they go to their sister's house for the weekend or something, or their friend's house or whatever, and they send you a different set of pictures. And now you're like, oh shit, are they behind?
Yeah, last week I was sure we were ahead.
So do they have like those old King Kamali kitchen photos going on where they look way too good and I've thought they were like ahead and now these are the accurate photos? So now you're like, okay, now I need to get like 3 sets of pictures from you.
Yeah, I need pictures in 3 different spots of light so I can decide.
Yeah, now I need pictures from the gym, pictures from a different room in your house. I need to see like 3 or 4 sets because I need to make sure of like, I need videos. I need, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I need to know what it actually look like.
Yeah, I had that before. I had one dude, man, he looked so good in his photos. Like glutes were coming in and the back shots. And I was like, oh, this guy's awesome. And then I'm like, send me a video from the gym. And he sends me a video and I'm like, oh shit. He's like, what's going on? And I realized his kitchen light is almost like set up for photos.
Right.
I also had one client, I swore they were filtering their pictures. And I was like, no. I had to talk with them about that.
Let's not do that.
What about you? What, aside from pictures?
I would say, and I hate because this is a topic that's beat up so much, but I think the biggest thing that I would say for clients, a mistake that many people make is, and this is kind of a 2-in-1, is wanting change before it's necessary, both in the training and in the diet. I've had clients who will send in a check-in, and one of my questions is, how perfect were you on the diet this week? And they'll be like 7 out of 10. And at the end of the email, they're like, so I get 7 out of 10, and they're like, so any changes we're going to make? I'm like, well, yeah, I need you to get 10 out of 10 on the diet. Like, yeah. I can't adjust a diet you're not following.
Yeah.
I don't, I have no idea why you look the way you do. But if you were executing the diet perfectly, then I would say, oh, okay, I should make some adjustments, or everything's roses, just keep rolling. So right. I think that's the biggest thing, is understanding that, when a coach gives you a plan, they can only manipulate that plan if you execute it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Seems simple, but a lot don't.
Yeah. Like I've had clients say like, can I get a new workout from you? And I'm like, why do you need a new workout? And they're like, well, I'm not really progressing. And I'm like, well, how, like, send me some videos of you training. So they send me videos and I'm like, you're barely going to failure.
Right.
Like you don't even have a spotter on the leg press. You're just kind of like doing like a hard 10 and racking it. Like, yeah. Of course you're not progressing.
At a number, yeah.
Yeah, like you got to dial this up. Like there's no need for a new program. You have to get a new like aggression towards your training. Yeah. I could send you a program just because, but it doesn't fucking help you.
Yeah, no, I've been following the same program within reason for a decade.
How about almost 3 decades? Right?
It's the same shit, really.
And it's funny because people say, "Oh, how has your training changed over the years?" And I'll say, "Oh, it's changed quite a bit." But I'm thinking in like a nuanced way.
Right.
I'm thinking like how I'm feeling the fucking tension on stuff, and I'm thinking of those little things and different cues. But on paper, my workouts haven't really changed much for like 30 years. The volume maybe went down a little bit for a while, and then it came up a little bit for a while, and then it came up a little bit more, and then I realized that didn't work, and then it went down again. Right. But essentially the types of exercises I use, like I haven't added exercises to my routine for, I don't know, I've been doing the same stuff for 30 years. The invention of machines, like
we didn't have before, so
it wasn't invented yet, so I wasn't using it, but now we are. Some of the hammer strength stuff and etc. But yeah, I think the principles have always been sound and stable. Progressive, controlling weights, moving them a certain way. There's really only 2 different rep tempos I use most of the time. It's just real. It's all about applying effort to what you're doing. So yeah, the change in program just so they could feel like they have a new program. That's something that I usually say that's not what you need. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Well, here's a good one that's more story time. So
okay,
so you have to answer. And this is Michaela Acock. She said, for both of us, do you have a most memorable training session? And if so, let's hear it and why.
You know what? Honestly, Dusty, I mean, I've had like probably a million good workouts because almost all my workouts are good.
Right.
I have an easier time remembering the bad workouts because there's so few of them.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I had a bad workout within the last week. I had one bad workout and I was like, holy fuck. Now, obviously, I had like a fucking shitty week last week and stuff, but I had like one bad workout, you know? But if it, you know, and I may have torched a few brain cells along the way, so I might not remember all the good workouts. But that workout that you and me had at Dino's where we trained back was just fucking awesome. And I don't know why that one stands out. I guess it was just such a crazy atmosphere in the gym that night, and Dino was yelling at us, and people were filming, and I guess it also stands out for me because, you know, I'd been so injured. Like, I hadn't really been doing bent over rows because I felt crooked on them.
In multiple variations of it.
Yeah, like, you know, I hadn't been at my best, right? And I just, my body hadn't been the way it used to be, but I was like, well, I'm training with Dusty. I guess we're gonna do some bent rows. Like, I used to love them, right? But they kind of were tough for me after my injury, but they felt good that day, right? You know. And I was like, fucking bent rowed with you, and we went super hard, and it was just a great workout. And then we wound up getting like that video that Dino took of you doing 4 plates for 12.
Yeah.
It was like one of the best videos because you can hear me counting in the background and you can hear yelling, "Come on, Dusty, it's fucking nothing." Like, he's just swearing. And so it was a good workout. And then also, too, another one that was really big for me in the last couple of years was I trained legs with Hollingshead at King's Gym for a Mutant on a Mission. And I did that on purpose. I saved legs for that episode because I hadn't really, like, I'd sort of been, you know, I'd made a pretty good comeback on the leg injury, but I'd sort of been stuck at a few numbers in my head. Like, I hadn't put X number of plates on the leg press yet, and I hadn't, you know what I mean? There's just a couple of things I hadn't done.
You need to specify the leg injury for those who don't know.
Oh, yeah. Well, I ruptured my quad tendon, like 100% rupture, so I had to get it reattached in 2016. October 2016. So yeah, I mean, that was a, you know, absolute full-on devastating year of rehab, and then another year of like just trying to get back to normal. So it was like a 2-year rehab process pretty much. And but going and training with James, I think it was around the 2-year mark when I went there, and I couldn't even count the plates. He just kept putting plates on the leg press. And another thing about King's Gym is none of the plates match. So some of them are 20 kilo and some of them are 25 kilo.
And you don't even know.
So, and then the odd plate was like 15 kilo, and we're just like piling them on. Right. And then we got these big, huge green bands that are like this thick. And I'm like, okay, I don't even know how much this is. So I'm not even going to think about it. I'm just going to fucking unrack it. Right. And it was like, at that point in time, it was the ballsiest thing that I'd done since I hurt my leg. Right. It was like like I literally was like taking caution and just throwing it out the window and going, I have to do this heavy ass set of leg press. My leg might snap off in England. I might be flying home with a fucking ripped quad, but I got to do it because if I don't get over this mental hurdle, I'll be a prisoner. And I can't fucking stand the idea of being a prisoner of something that happened to me. And so that workout with James was fucking awesome. I know it was a good workout for him and stuff, but it was like a real landmark because I came home going, oh, fuck, I can do anything now. My leg's fine.
I love it. So my time for story time is the most memorable is actually pretty simple. So it was my first trip to Temple Gym.
Oh, yeah.
I had to literally find it, which, as you know, if you don't know where that alley is to get back to the original Temple Gym, you can't find it. It's behind buildings and under buildings. So I get
with all the heroin balloons and the heroin needles laying on the ground.
Garbage.
Yeah.
Up everywhere. So I get in there, and of course I do what any fanboy would do. I'm going to follow Yates's program, and I'm training back today. So I come in and I get started, and right as I get to the very first machine, Dorian is needing to use it also. So he's like, go ahead, finish. So I jam it out. He's coming up, next machine. Of course, I'm following his program. And just like we just discussed, Dorian is doing his program too. So he literally looks at me and he goes, do you want to just train? And I'm like, is this a fucking trick question? Do I want to train back, with Dorian Yates in Temple Gym. Yes, sir, I do.
Yes.
So what made it awesome, though, wasn't even that. It was actually what we're talking about, intensity. So this was, I don't know, 2013, 2012, something in there. And I was definitely at a higher end of intensity than most. And I found out that day that retired Dorian Yates was more intense than me. I mean,
funny.
I'm doing rows, and of course I'm doing them his way because I'm training in his gym. I was going to do them his way. And I remember starting to struggle, and out of nowhere, I find out I'm really training with Dorian Yates. We're not just using the same shit. You're not done. I'm like, oh, okay, tighten the form. I mean, he's fucking on me. And we grinded out. I mean, it was brutal workout. And I got done, and I remember just thinking to myself, if this is Yates now,
right?
What was he? Because I guarantee you, Leroy would be like, oh, he's so mellow in the gym now. He's, you know what I mean? Like, I've definitely realized, and I see it in my stuff too, that as great as a video is, and black and white and hardcore in a dungeon, you do not understand his intensity. You could feel. It was in air when he was in the gym, and I just remember walking out of there going, I got a long way to go. Like, not to become Mr. Olympia, to be a fucking badass like him.
Well, I remember Dino telling me about how Dorian would pace between sets, like you had a fighter in the corner, and he was just like pacing and like just waiting to just have like a bull in the chute, at a rodeo. Like, and then when his internal clock or whatever told him it was ready for that set, the pace would just break and he'd walk to the machine and get on it and fucking go. And it was like this electric feeling, like he was pacing, just looking at the floor, like he was like just trying not to kill anybody. And then it was like, Kate, ready for my set, and he would turn and go straight to the bar and just fucking lock onto it, and you could feel it apparently. So I know exactly what you mean. You got another one?
There's something awesome about that. Well, the other one was more same gym. I mean, like you, man, I've had so many workouts where my description, and I know you will understand this, some of our listeners will too, a great set to me, it was like a really great set when during the set all the sound disappears in the gym. And it's almost like you end up literally in a tunnel in your own head, like to where you don't even realize it happens until you rack the weight and sit up, and it's like somebody turns the volume back up slowly, and you're like, holy shit.
Yeah, it's the void.
I was muffled hearing Ron yell at me, but not really. And I didn't hear or see anything in the gym. So those moments, I've had 10,000 of them. But actually, the day I met Dino was the same situation. I was in Temple Gym, and we were doing hack squats, Jose and I. And I was being me and doing as many as I could till I died. And I could hear this guy just screaming at me that wasn't Jose, losing his mind. And I'm just grinding out, and I finish, and I get up. And I didn't know at the time, but it was Dino. And he literally looked at me and goes, that's fucking training. No one trains like that. And he walked off. And I was like, lunatic. Like, and I had no idea who he was. No introduction, just that was it. And then fast forward a few years, and I would pay to have Dino yell at me in a gym.
I know. It was funny because
I had a big leg day. Could you come scream at me, please?
Yeah, I know. It'd be worth it. No, man, I know what you mean. I've had 10,000 those things you're talking about where you did, the gym disappears.
Yeah.
I hear powerlifters call. Well, Dave Tate calls it the void.
Right.
And when they're doing those 1,000-pound squats and stuff, it's just to go into another world. And I know what that feels like when you're doing like a crazy set of something. And when you rack it and you like reality like comes back, it's pretty cool. I know exactly what you mean. Here's one. Here's one. We'll go here.
We'll go here. Uh-oh.
We'll go here because actually it's an interesting topic, and I've got a bit of an opinion on it. So, your thoughts on the mix, and I think it's important how the question's worded because it affects my answer. Your thoughts on the mix of medicinal marijuana and bodybuilding. And then they ask, should it be allowed? Do you consider it a performance-enhancing drug?
Well, number one, I think all performance-enhancing drugs should be allowed.
Yeah. It's just I think exactly. So okay.
And I mean, here I'm going to just touch that real quick because I'm actually serious. This whole thing of like performance enhancing and natural and all this, no one really gives a fuck. They really, really don't. I don't want to see the home run champion get 12 home runs. I want to see him get 200. I want to see powerlifters squatting 2,000 pounds, and I want to see bodybuilders being 350 pounds. Like, nobody comes to the show for average. And I'm sorry, and listen, I respect everybody who makes their choices. And if you're a phenomenal natural bodybuilder, man, hats off to you, and you're doing your thing. But people come to see the freaks.
Yeah.
So if your show is in the same auditorium as the Olympia, and one's on the north side and one's on the south, ain't nobody watching your stage.
Yeah.
Your mom is peeking over her shoulder trying to see what Kai Green looks like, because that's the freakiest shit she's ever seen.
Okay, so you got the performance part of it. Yeah.
Onto the marijuana part, like, I mean, I understand the effects it can have on testosterone and those types of things. But in reality, you're supplementing that anyhow. And number two, people like me don't sleep. It is ridiculous how much it helps with sleeping, especially during prep. And actually, I've found that other strands are freaking awesome before I go to the gym. Literally for me, it's a mental performance enhancer for me.
Right.
It either shuts me down when I need to be, or realistically, and something I've done more and more of lately, is on the way into the gym, I'm stunned at how, what'd you call it, in the void I can get walking into the gym. I mean, start. Yeah. And it's like, I'm here to do this. And I don't use pre-workouts. I don't any of those things anymore. I drink a cup of coffee and make my car nice and smoky and go in the gym and get to work.
Well, my story about marijuana and bodybuilding is it's funny because I used to tell people this before marijuana got so sort of socially cool lately with legalization up here in Canada. I mean, for those of you that don't know, it's fully recreationally legal in Canada now, and what's going on in the States where it's eventually going to happen. But if we go back to the 90s, I remember when I first realized that every good bodybuilder I knew smoked weed. Like, I started meeting like top national guys when I was young and pros and hanging out with people and training, and I was like, oh my God, like, they all smoke weed. Like, it was just fucking crazy. I was in Australia. Every single bodybuilder smoked weed there. And it was like, I kept thinking, okay, I'm going to meet someone who doesn't. No, every single one of them. And like, these are guys that like, oh yeah, I won the universe twice, passed the joint. Like, these are good bodybuilders, like guys that were kicking ass and turning pro and winning NABA universes and all that sort of shit. And they all smoked weed. Right. And the attitude back then had nothing to do with performance. They just liked it. It wasn't about like, oh, I smoke it because. No one was justifying fucking anything. Their thing was, well, I can't drink because it's hard on the liver. Right. Alcohol is really bad for bodybuilders. They're like, I gotta have some kind of fun, so I smoke on the weekends and barbecue some steaks and watch a movie. Like, it had nothing to do with performance. There was none of that talk, none of this like, oh, I smoke it so I can eat. They just liked it. And that was all they needed. They didn't need to justify shit to anybody. And then, all through the 2000s, it was just like more and more and more. Every single good bodybuilder I met, all the California guys. And then it wasn't like later, like, that I started meeting guys who smoked before they trained. And I was like, holy shit.
You thought that was crazy.
Well, that was like, I didn't, it was funny. Like, that wasn't a thing back then. Like, back then it was like everyone smoked after, and then it like started getting more and more guys smoking before they trained. And I was like, holy shit. And it's now like, I mean, marijuana and bodybuilding, it's like part of the culture. It's like fanny packs used to be. Everyone had, everyone did it, right?
Fanny packs.
You know what I mean? Like, it's part of the culture. It's part of bodybuilding culture now. And it's pretty fascinating now with like, everyone pushing the CBD now and stuff. But for me, marijuana in the bodybuilding world never had anything to do with performance. It was just my attitude on marijuana has been fuck you, I do what I want. Mind your own fucking business.
Right.
That's it. That's all I ever needed to say to anybody.
That's usually the when people are asking about performance, though, I feel like they're really asking, does it hurt me?
Yes. So that's a way of wording it. You're right.
I think they're more wondering, will this hurt me more than will it help me? And so your answer to that, obviously, is no.
Yeah, or you know what? There are people, though, you know how, like, drugs magnify your personality?
Right.
You know, like, you're a fucking asshole, you'll be a fucking asshole on Anadrol,
right.
You know? If you're a lazy guy that finds excuses and you're kind of half unmotivated, maybe you probably shouldn't smoke weed because you'll probably have a hard time getting to the gym. You'll probably have a hard time, you know, being consistent or whatever. But there's people out there that when they use certain things, it does not affect them in a negative way. Like you said, almost magnifies it the other way. So those people can take advantage of that sort of stuff. You know, it's the same with everyone. Like, you hear some people say, "Oh, you know, I don't smoke weed. It just makes me pass out." You know, like, okay, well, you definitely shouldn't smoke before you train then.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? So yeah, but I guess sleep would definitely be, if I had to pick a benefit, it would be sleep.
For sure.
But aside from that, I never really ever gave it a thought as far as benefit. It was all just, you know.
Oh, I'm looking at this, realize that I got the same question, so they must have asked us both.
Oh, okay. You got another one?
Yes, I've got a few here. All right, I want to hit this just because we haven't been touching them. He wants to know is, at what dose have you or your clients experienced a point of diminishing returns with testosterone?
Well, you know, I typically, I never ever went over 1,500.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I'd say between, looking back, you know, 1,000 milligrams for a guy my size, I could easily be over 300 pounds.
Right.
Like, no problem. If I took 1,000 tests a week, if I'm eating and training, over 300 pounds, no problem. The giant body weight, so 320, 330, those were where I was like 1,500 milligrams.
Mm-hmm.
But I found 1,200 was kind of where I used to top out. I don't know if this was just me being like Mr. Safety or something, or Mr. Think About the Future or whatever I was, but I always sort of like, there were certain amounts where I just had an instinct, like, I don't want to go above that. And it wasn't like I actually had side effects.
Yeah, you put your brain.
Yeah, it was just my brain saying, I don't want to go any higher than that. You know, like, I'd hear guys going, "Oh, I'm running 2 grams a week." I'd be like, I don't want to do 2 grams a week.
Right.
And I never did that. So I'd sort of say 1,200 is where I typically used to ceiling out as far as test dose. I did go to 15 for a little bit, but generally it was like kind of between 1,000 and 12.
Yeah. I would say, I mean, truthfully, I'm in the same boat, but the reason is simple. I didn't see a change between a gram and 1,500. I saw nothing. So as I widely explain all the time, I'm cheap. So I don't want to spend 50% more money and not know what I'm getting.
Yeah.
Really think, because the question was diminishing returns. So I would say for me, that was about it. Was anything above that, I literally saw no change. I wasn't stronger. I wasn't seeing better gains. I didn't feel like I was recovering faster. So I didn't see the point. And then the only other thing that I do that's a little OCD that most don't is I watch my blood work a ton in the off season.
Right.
So, no matter how high my testosterone is, I keep everything else exactly where I want it. So as long as as long as I'm making sure like my estradiol levels are within a healthy range, all that, I know I'm safe to have tests through the roof, because truthfully, all of your problems come from other things being too high or too low.
Right.
If your test is through the roof and estradiol and all these other things are where they're supposed to be, you can roll. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Safely cruise on. But yeah, for the question, I find that the goal is what is giving you the most bang for the buck. If that's 500, 700, stay. If you go up and you don't see absolute change, go back down.
Right. Right. Okay. So I got one here. It's kind of a life advice one.
Oh boy.
It was advice on finishing a prep post breakup.
Oh.
I assume, yeah, we touched on this before. I assume they're dieting and they're in the middle of a prep and they've broken up.
Yeah. So for me, that is simple. Fuck yes. Like, you have something to focus on, to drive forward and to keep moving for 2-3 more months that is not wallowing in this situation, and bury your head and grind. You know, I mean, truthfully, and, you know, I'm not like the hard ass guy that's like, fuck, I'm getting a new girl. Like, maybe you're heartbroken. I get it. But focus on something you can control. And bodybuilding is an awesome way to do that. You and I have discussed this before off air. Like, you know, when everything has been going on in my life, I'm like, okay, it's time to fucking lock it in with bodybuilding, with business, control the things you can control. And then what happens is, man, I have found myself that bodybuilding will allow you to get through it. And then when it's done, you can kind of look back and go, I'm good.
Right.
I'm past it, you know?
Yeah. I know what you mean. I sort of, you know, a lot of people, you know, may be different than me, but, you know, bodybuilders are extreme people. And, you know, we tend to do extreme things. So sometimes, you know, if you go through a breakup like that, it might be best if you're in prep. Mm-hmm. Keep you from like wandering. You know what I mean? Like, I know some guys with the kind of the extreme, little bit of an extreme personality, they might be like, oh, I'm gonna bang like 10 chicks and party. And that's probably way worse than prepping.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I mean? Because then next thing you know, they fucking, you know, they're spending money. Maybe now they knock somebody up. And now they're like, I could just see the decline, right? You just don't, the post breakup time, guys fuck their lives up all the time. And it's like, might be best if you're in prep, you know, just focus on your shit. Hey, you know what? You're going to save some money now. You're not going to leave the house.
Well, I've found too, I mean, this is kind of a flip situation, but my first marriage, we went through problems and decided we were going to give it a roll. Yeah,
first one. The practice one.
Yeah, warm up. And here's what's funny. So I was prepping for a show when we decided we were going to keep rolling. And I literally got all the way through the show. She was phenomenal, did everything she could do. You know, I mean, I have no complaints of anything. Show was over. I'm backstage. I'm like, I got to end this. I knew immediately, because the thing that I had used to distract me from what wasn't working for me was gone in an instant. I mean, I was literally backstage, and I was like, oh, shit. This sucks. Like, you know, made the post-show celebration a little weird since I already had that in my brain. But literally, I mean, I guess the point I'm making is it is a distraction, good or bad.
Right.
And when the show does come to an end and you've kind of got your bearings back about again and you have a piece of chocolate cake, you probably are going to have some pretty good clarity. And in some cases, you might find that it was good that the girl's gone or hey, shit, I guess I should own that. I fucked it up. And then you roll, you know?
Right. Okay. You got another one?
Yes. You guys are awesome, by the way, because I put this up this morning when I was running out the door to to go train my guy. All right, I'm going to answer this one just because people have been asking. I want to avoid it. I had someone ask me specifically if I would get another dog after the Zoe situation. And it's the reason I'm answering that is because it's actually a good question.
Yes.
I have during Zoe's life, no way in hell. The day that she died, no way in hell. 4 days later, I was like, my house is empty as fuck.
Yeah.
And I had a few people, like close friends, reach out and they were like, hey, you know, making that decision is not replacing one. It's giving the same energy in life to another.
Yeah.
So the only tweak that I would make is I would never buy another dog. So I would, and I do have an allergy, so I have to get a Yorkie, a Maltese, and I like small dogs because I'm just lazy as fuck, and I'm not going to walk them 4 miles a day. But I'll go rescue another when I'm ready. I've had a couple moments where I thought, but once life is kind of lined up and I know what I'm doing with my next house and shit like that, I definitely will be. And if it weren't for my personal things I'm working through as far as figuring out that, I would do it now.
Yeah.
I definitely realize now it's like it would be healthier for me to have something. And to be honest with you, when you live solo and you work at home and essentially I'm out of my house like 3 hours a day, I was like, holy shit, I had no idea that the blind Yorkie was bringing me so much to do. You know what I mean? So I want all that shit back. And the things that I think people maybe that don't have our lifestyle think are a pain in the ass were great. Like when I would wake up to pee 20 times a day because I drink so much, I would go pick her up because she's blind, carry her outside, let her go to the bathroom, bring her back in. So the first couple nights that I didn't get to do that, I was like, well, this sucks.
Yeah.
No responsibility. I am literally a child again with money. This sucks.
And you don't want to be a child with money because then you do bad things.
Exactly. It gets very expensive. Something to give me a reason to be focused.
Yes. Okay. No, that makes sense. I was going to ask you about that as well because, like, I follow all these dog rescues on my Instagram and stuff, right?
Right.
And so, sometimes you're like, oh my God, I'm lucky I don't live near that rescue, or I would go get that dog right now.
All of them.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, and then I'd realize I live in a condo and I'd be like, oh fuck, I fucked up. Like, I don't trust myself around dog rescues, man. It's because there's just too much. I just want to save them all. Sure. But that is very rewarding, and I know what you mean. I've had a lot of people, like, I understand buying a dog. When people say, oh, I got this purebred, like they pay $2,000 for like some snub nose designer pit bull. I get it. I understand. People have a certain type of dog. They just love how they look, or there's supposed to be a certain trait about them. I get that. But I'm just like, after rescuing Jedi, after getting our dog, I could never buy a dog. You know what I mean? It just would never. There's always some dog out there that needs it. You know what I mean? So that's how I think. And I think most people that buy a dog, like a fancy dog, I find the next dog they get's a rescue a lot of times. Yeah, no, Zoe was a purebred, and I actually did rescue another one after we had her. Mm-hmm. And the only downside to that situation was someone I knew saw her like online in an online paper and just sent it to me. And I don't know what it was. I wasn't looking for a dog. And I own the stores. I was working, and I called my mother, and I'm like, go get this dog for me. And she was like, all right. So she grabbed it. The dog was amazing. The shitty thing was, I think the person knew she had a heart disease, and they didn't disclose that. So it was really brutal. And I went and did the basic health, but they don't look into things like that for a seemingly healthy dog. And it turns out when she died, which was like literally a year later, I probably could have kept her alive if I just knew about a $60 medication I'd have been buying every month. And I'm like, dude, the last thing I would have worried about was a $60 medication. You could have just told me, and the dog would still be alive, you dick. Right. I actually have a funny, kind of an odd story, but we didn't really know each other. We just kind of vaguely knew each other. Like, you knew who I was, and I knew who you were, and I think we may have given the nod a couple times. Right. And what was your dog's name, the first dog that passed away? Molly. Yeah. So I remember when Molly died. Right. And I don't remember what year that was. Was that like 2012 or 13 or? Yeah, somewhere in there. 11 or 12, yep. Okay, so somehow I saw it on social media. And you walked past me at the Olympia. Right. And I don't know if you remember this. And I tapped you, and you turned, and I go, Dusty. I go, hey, I just want to say I'm really sorry about your dog. And I shook your hand, and you looked at me like I'd caught you so off guard. Like you were like on the verge of losing it. And I was like, oh shit, I didn't mean to do that to this guy, because you're like right in the middle of a crowd at the O, you know what I mean? And I was like, oh fuck, I shouldn't have said that. And I was like, but we didn't really know each other yet, so I just sort of let it go. And you just kind of, you said, oh thanks. You kept walking, but it looked like I really like caught you at a bad time, and I remember being like, oh.
Well, she was the one that made me realize. That's why when Zoe died, it was like, I don't want to say funny, but I like to laugh because I've got these little tiny dogs that own my ass, you know?
Yeah.
When Molly died, I wasn't home, and I owned 5 retail stores, and I was working one of them. And I literally walked out the front door, locked the door, and went home. I called one of my main managers. I'm like, find an employee for that store or don't. I don't give a fuck.
Right, it's closed for today.
You know, like, I mean, and I'm telling you right now, and I'm not trying to be heartless, but same situation, you know, other than my mother or you know, girlfriend, I get a call that says, oh, you know, Sally died. I'd be like, okay, cool. Well, I get off at 8 because not to be a dick, but she'll still be dead. And I got you. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, dog, I'm like, I'm gone. I mean, I literally just got in the car, drove home. Called my guys, like, you can get somebody, you can not. I really don't give a fuck. And don't wait to tell me what happens. I'll find out in a few days. I came back like 4 days later.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, my guy took care of everything, but it was just, I'm like, nope. And I did the same thing with this. I mean, other than, it was funny, the things that kept me straight were training and clients. But outside of that, I did nothing.
Man. I got one for you. We'll change pace here. I don't know why they asked. Maybe they heard me talking about it, but I know we're both movie fans.
Absolutely.
What's your favorite Tarantino movie?
Oh,
that's a tough one.
That is like, I want to go vanilla because there's so many, but and it's going to be weak. But I would still go with Pulp Fiction, but primarily because of Julius.
He's a great character, man.
You know what I mean? Like so that I mean, that show, because that was actually, I think, here's what's crazy, because of my age, that was my first Tarantino. And
okay.
And I went backwards.
Right, and saw Reservoir Dogs.
Because I found out who he was, then I had to watch all of his movies.
Yeah.
So I literally, I mean, if you think about how late in the run, Tarantino was known by the time I saw one of his movies.
Right.
So I had to then go all the way to the beginning and work forward. So yeah, that would probably be it, because it kind of introduced me to it. And I remember it was the first movie I'd ever seen where it was out of order.
Right. Yeah, it's not linear. Yeah.
I'm like, what is going on right now? You know? So yeah, no, I would say that was definitely my favorite. And yours?
Well, I know what you mean. I'm tempted to say Pulp Fiction too, just because I say it's such a great fucking movie. Like, every single scene and every line of dialogue, it's just crazy. And also, it was such a phenomenon at the time because it totally relaunched Travolta. Like, he was gone.
Yeah.
Like, Travolta was gone. He wasn't hardly a star. He was like a guy that used to make movies. And then he was just huge. And Sam Jackson was just so fucking perfect in it. And
that was his catapult too, though.
Yeah, Sam Jackson took a huge leap in that movie. And, you know, Bruce Willis and Ving Rhames and just the craziest cast ever, you know. Rebecca Arquette with all the shit in her face.
Oh, shoot. Yeah, exactly.
I remember.
Who's the girl with all the shit in her face?
Who's the girl with all the shit in her face? That's my wife. Oh.
Absolute gold. Between that and then for me, the metric system.
Yeah. But Reservoir Dogs was the first one I saw. And I remember when I saw Reservoir Dogs, it was like perfect timing because I was at an age where I was able to appreciate. I think some people saw Reservoir Dogs like, oh, it's kind of slow in some parts, but it's great, you know. But that was the first time I watched a movie and I thought, holy shit, this movie is 100% about the dialogue and the script.
Right.
Like, very low budget. You know, there's some cool scenes in it, obviously, like classic scenes, like the fucking ear scene. Like, that's like that was something else. But also, Reservoir Dogs was Tarantino clearly made a point of saying, I'm going to make the soundtrack of my movies as important as a character.
Right, for sure.
You know, like Pulp Fiction soundtrack. Every movie he's ever done has that, like, time-sensitive soundtrack, because it's almost all this.
Hear a song that was in those. I don't care who you are. You think of the movie. Boom.
Nah, man. Every time I hear "Stuck in the Middle with You," I see that ear getting cut off.
The poor guy that wrote that song was like, that was not my intention.
My favorite part about Reservoir Dogs was how the radio station that they listened to, K-Billy Sounds of the 70s. How it's throughout the entire movie. Like every time someone gets in a car, K-Billy Sounds of the 70s is on the radio. And so that's the soundtrack you hear. And who's the comedian that does the really dry delivery? He's the voice of the radio. Who is that? Which comedian's that? The guy, super famous.
He is space. I don't know his name though.
Yeah, he does all his jokes are very monotone. So they get him to voice the radio station. It's just fucking brilliant.
Which makes him another character.
But I've heard that I haven't seen the new one, Once Upon a Time in America, and I've heard that might be his best movie.
Really? No, I haven't seen it either.
So I have to go see it. But how Tarantino movies are. It's probably 3 hours.
That's a commitment to watch.
Yeah, that's a commitment. I don't know if I go to theaters for 3 hour movies anymore. I don't wait for that one.
I definitely hear that.
Okay, that was a good question, actually. Fuck, it was nice to get something specific. Instead of, what do you eat to get huge? You want to go again?
That way, at least with a question like that, they can decide if they still like us. They're like, they don't like the right fucking movie.
Right.
These two bastards have no taste, and what they worried about was stupid. So, who cares?
So there's one here, Ron and Dusty. What's the best relationship advice? And she says it can't include any stories about butt sex.
What? But that's a key to relationships.
That might be from my girlfriend.
But it can't. Okay, fine. If you're going to do that to us.
It's very hard to describe a perfect relationship without butt sex stories. Really, how do you develop trust? How do you, how do you move forward, Dusty?
I would like to hear your take on this, but I'm going to take her question a little bit more directly.
Okay.
Involving being in the industry.
Okay.
Go. That's it. So you're in the industry. How do you pull off, with our lifestyle, the successful relationship?
In our industry.
See, I made it harder.
Well, I guess our industry is sort of a hyper magnified version of how everyone has so many options.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like normal people have options, but people in the fitness world, it's pretty incestuous.
Right.
We see we see it all the time. How many pros have dated this pro, and how many pros have dated that pro, and this pro physique guy seems to bang bikini pros, right. And this pro bikini girl seems to go out with classic guys or whatever. We see that all the time, right? Yep. And it trickles down. So our industry is pretty sex based. Let's face it. Everyone putting up their butt pictures and their pec pictures and showing off their abs, and it's. A fitness girl has a lot more options than a normal girl.
For sure.
And a fitness guy has a lot more options than a normal guy. So there's magnified, relationship stressors.
Right.
And I think it's the people who get caught up in the artificialness of social media that maybe have the hardest time. I don't know, because you got to be able to separate reality from the fantasy world that everyone's putting out there. And the old saying, don't let your life be confused with someone else's highlight reel.
Right.
That's, I think, obviously kind of what's doing a lot of relationships in. But yeah, I don't know. I guess it's the separation of reality from the fantasy of social media. That's probably something that people just have to maybe be better at. Is that a good answer?
No, I definitely think so. And I think, any relationship, but definitely within the industry. I think one big thing is don't buy into your own hype or
yeah. Oh yeah.
And I think this industry is a dangerous thing because it's insecurity based as well. So for example, in my situation, we don't ever actually say anything out loud. I've never said this is my girlfriend on the internet ever.
Right.
I've never, I rarely interact on social media because for me, social media is work. My job is to be a bodybuilder. Now, granted, I do put some personal things in there so people know I have more to me than, just bodybuilding. YouTube is probably where you see my most real life because this is just how I live kind of situation. But I think the biggest thing too is for me, what you mentioned is, and I tease about this all the time, but I used to always say the greatest pickup line for me in the bodybuilding world would be, "Hi, I'm Dusty." Because it's funny because they already know that. You know what I mean? But in all honesty, it's not something I'm interested in because at the same time, when you've been in the industry for a really long time, you really know how full of shit it is. So I like to go home, have my real life, have the people who know my real life know it and no one else.
Right.
And understand that the reason that you can be as successful as you are is who you come home to. She puts up with a ton of shit to.
Oh yeah. Fuck yeah.
Both real shit of just your life and being traveling and all those things. And it takes a security level on both sides. I mean, I always say if you don't want to be, if you're not secure, date an ugly poor guy. And if you aren't secure, do not date a beautiful fitness woman.
Right.
Because guess what? Everyone does want to sleep with her.
Yeah.
You better trust her because trust and believe she can have them all if she wants them.
It's funny because Emily's done those sexy photo shoots and stuff, she's even done some nude photo shoot stuff. And I remember one time she was shooting here at the condo. We had the photographer here. I know the guy. They're doing these photos by the windows. We had the furniture moved and they were kind of doing these photos. And I had to go to the gym. It was time to train, right? Mm-hmm. So she's almost naked. Yeah. And she's like, "See you, babe." And I'm like, "See ya." And I walk out. And then she said afterwards, the photographer was like, "Wow, he just left." She's like, "Yeah, he's going to train." And the photographer was like, "Oh, that's really cool. Most of the time, the husband or boyfriend wants to stay the whole shoot and oversee."
That's why some photographers don't even want to hear the option that your boyfriend or husband is going to come.
Yeah, they don't even want them there. Yeah, but I mean, it's just funny.
I don't want to be there. I'm like, give me some awesome pictures, and if there's any way to sneak some in that can't make the internet, I want those.
Right. Yeah, I know what you mean. So I've just never had a problem with it because I know her, right? So I just never cared. But I understand that's a huge problem for a lot of people. They just can't function around that stuff. And if you're not there yet, it's probably not going to work.
Yeah, well, that's the bottom line. Is if you're in the right situation, you don't want to fuck it up. It's really simple. You want the long-term situation that's going to roll, and it's not that you don't have a million people that would knock on your door, or she does, or I do. But when you've got the right situation, I literally would just go on there and be like, just don't. It's anywhere with me, so roll on, and I'm done giving away all of my furniture. So
yeah. The funny thing is, people say to me sometimes, "Man, I can't believe how you and Emily never fight." I'm like, "What do you mean we never fight?" And they're like, "We never fight." And I'm like, "Well, do you live with us? How do you know we never fight?" Of course we have disagreements and fights, and she irritates the shit out of me, and I'm pretty much perfect, so everything's her fault. And but then I realized that they mean they don't see it on social media, so they think that they're like, "Well, yeah, but you guys don't fight on social media." How you can tell when other couples are fighting because they're like, "Oh, he took her name off his Instagram and he put it back on, and then she deleted that photo of them, and then it went back up, and then I don't, you hear that from people because some people pay attention to other people's shit so much, it's crazy. But people say that to me, and I'm like, well, that's I shouldn't know when you fight with your wife,
right?
I shouldn't know. If I know, that's a problem.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know what I mean?
But again, that draws back to an insecurity in some points. I mean, you're moving around, and the bottom line is everyone assumes they know what's going on in your life and has no idea.
Right.
I've had plenty of situations where people are like, "Oh my God, I can't believe this happened." I'm like, that happened a year ago. I just didn't make a fucking announcement. You're finding out now, but it was a long time ago. You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I know what you mean. So Dusty, you know, we've done over an hour and a half. We've done like an hour 35 minutes, something like that.
77 more questions, so I guess we're gonna have to hold those for later.
I know, but no, I mean, it's been good. We really did get behind on this. Some of these were from like a ways ago that I was saving, and then some of them were from today. So I hope everybody liked the Q&A episodes. You know, like we said, it was kind of our plan to kind of alternate having guests on and that sort of shit. So hopefully we kept you entertained and informed, and maybe you learned something. Hey, what do you think, Dust?
I think we got it done, you know, and I do like the variety. So I keep kind of prodding people when I post, like, it can be anything.
Anything, man.
You know, I think that's key, just because I do want to make sure that the listeners understand, like, we're normal people, and, you know, I don't even mind knowing the fact that an answer I might give today might change in 3 years.
Right. Okay.
Thank God we'll have the show.
Okay, well, we're hopefully going to have a great guest next week. I'm not sure if you have officially lined him up or if he's kind of on.
He's 87.6% as long as he gets his muffin in the morning.
Okay, as long as he gets his muffin. And knowing him, that's the only thing he's going to eat all day.
Exactly.
You know, but he'll make sure he's not flat for the show.
Finally.
Okay, well, we're hoping to have a great guest next week for you, and you know, we do have a lot of guys that are said they're come on, so we're gonna start. You know, well, I like the idea of having a backup guest. You know, just because I'm paranoid. Just kind of paranoid, you know. But okay, well, we'll see you guys. Thanks for watching. We're on episode 8, Dusty.
We are. We're rolling.
Okay. The last one's doing really well. I'm going to put that clip up on my IGTV today from the Luke episode, just to make sure people don't miss that. And just remember, where everyone can reach us at Vice's Radio Network for the audio, and get over to Think Big Bodybuilding Media on YouTube to watch the show. Thanks, Dusty.
Till next time.
It's just bodybuilding.